Hello, it's me, Dev, in the future, editing this podcast. So, James had some audio issues with his microphone during this one. So, in the pre-game section, there's a sort of weird hum underneath James's audio, and then in the post-game discussion, James sounds like he's far away. For all intents and purposes, it's not that bad, and we've done everything we can to try and make it sound a bit cleaner. But yeah, James's audio sounds a bit out with this one. Also, to give you a warning, this episode gets very silly very quickly. Enjoy. This podcast is not affiliated or endorsed by anyone at Zaum Studio or anyone involved in the creation of Disco Elysium. Three Detectives in a Trench Coat contains spoilers for Disco Elysium: The Final Cut. If you have not played the game, proceed with caution.
Disco Elysium is a game about sex, drugs, and disco, and politics, and violence, and drugs, and sometimes those drugs are used by children, and sometimes the violence is aimed at children, and generally is a game for 18s or over. Proceed with caution, as we will be discussing themes within the game.
This episode was recorded on the 9th of July, 2023. We present You Like Jazz?
Oh no, your recordings don't have any arms?
Oh, they do now. They have one arm. They are armed. Yeah.
You're telling me your son dried this tomato? You're telling me a shrimp fried this rice? Hello.
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 Oh, it is good to be back.
Oh, it's been a while.
It has been. Well, yeah, not as long as it has been, but it's
Not
nice
as long
to
as
be
it has
back.
been, true.
Yeah,
It's nice
can
to
be
be
longer.
I was at a Scottish podcaster meetup today, and very nice things were said about you both by people that weren't me. So I just wanted to let you know. Obviously, I said nice things as well. I just want to make it clear that other people are saying nice things about the two of you as well.
Who's name and shame?
Well, you said that, but it's really lovely to hear. But I'm mostly excited about the fact that there are now Scottish podcaster meetups.
There is a
This is
new
so exciting.
wave of Scottish podcasters out there. It's great, and it's wonderful.
I'm so excited.
Like me and Libby from Glasgow Ghost Stories were there, and we were kind of ruminating on the fact that 7 years ago this was us.
It's really nice. I'm looking forward to being able to recommend more than Glasgow Ghost Stories, a Scottish podcast, and Tin Can, and and Folklore. And there's a bunch of things that you've made as well. But yes, I'm looking forward to saying, no, look at this website of the hundreds of Scottish podcasts out there, and then filter by most listened or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, while I'm here, I will shout out Ethics Town, which the first episode came out the day we're recording.
Oh,
wonderful.
that's so cool! I did not know it's come out. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was Scottish.
It's out. Yeah, it's made by a Scottish team, and Mort Safe is also coming soon. I have a wonderful Mort Safe mug that I'm currently drinking tea out of.
Of course, Mort Safe, yes. I did a voice for that.
Yeah,
Yes.
whole new wave of wonderful, brilliant, talented Scottish audio dramas.
I'm gonna name and shame Oren here. Oren came up to me and Jude at the London Podcast Fest, I think in 2019.
Oh wow!
But yeah, no, Oren came up to us and they were a bit starstruck.
Aww.
And he's like, "You're the Cane and Fields guys," and we're like, "We are the Cane and Fields guys." And they mentioned their podcast, and they mentioned that they were going up to Edinburgh to learn how to do sound design.
Yeah.
And I think there were a number of people that day who were like, "Oh, okay, let's just note that down and exploit it in 4 years." So I'm very excited for Mort Safe to come out. It sounds fantastic and gay and wonderful.
Yes, that seems to
Happy
be the
Pride
vibe.
when we're recording.
Yes, that seems to be the vibe of a lot of the sort of new wave of Scottish podcasts. And it's nice because one of the things that Ross and I talked about a lot when we were doing Folklore, but then also kind of when we were starting to do podcasts, is just we do want to kind of create a space in Scotland for audio drama and to kind of show that it can be done. And as much as, we can't really take credit for people having independent ideas, it's nice to see that there is a scene forming. It's nowhere near as big as what's down there in London, and not quite as much resources either. I mean, saying that, we were getting quite good at doing arts funding now.
Resources for podcasts? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think Creative Scotland have cottoned on to the fact that all the audio dramas keep applying to them for funding.
Oh no, the cat's out of the bag.
A little bit, yeah.
Put that cat back in the bag.
But yeah, it's good to see so many wonderful Scottish podcasters out there, and they're saying nice things about us, which is also very nice.
Hooray! I like that.
I'm very excited about Ethics Town coming up because it has my friends Reese and Sarah in it. When I love Reese and Sarah, but also it was written and produced by C.L. Hendry, who has been so helpful just in the podcast community. in just doing kind of contributing a marketing effort. They are like a Twitter, Tumblr genius. So yes, I'm very I think they are very significantly responsible for the success of The Secret of St. Kilda, amongst a lot of other people who are brilliant. But mostly they just kind of went up to them and said, I really want to help, and they came up to me and said, I really want to help, and I give them some things to do, or they volunteer some things to do, and they are wonderful people. So check out Ethics Town, like I will, because I'm excited.
Hey, do you want to hear a poem I wrote?
Oh, I'd love to hear a poem you've written, yes.
Yes.
Oh, really? Oh, shit. I didn't expect...
I genuinely would. I feel like our listenership is now... They're not
they've all gone by this point.
Exactly. Are they... if you're listening to this still, are you more fans of Disco Elysium or us? Tell us. Let us know. Or if you...
Contact us somehow. This is the day after Twitter decided to stop working.
Oh, God.
You know what? I just, it's fine. It'll probably be fine.
Listener, it wasn't.
Write down the date and time you said that.
No, here's the thing. Okay, I've got a thought on this, but I don't want to get in the way of Ollie's poem. So come back to that thought.
Oh no, gosh! Please get in the way. Okay, yes, okay. And you've got to tell me first. You want one about being a vampire in the sun, or one about the internet?
The internet.
Internet, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine recently lived for 8 days without internet.
Oh wow.
They had a router that just died on them, and then Virgin was like, "It's going to take 2 weeks to fix," and they were like, "What?" So they've been living off phone data and things like this.
Oh my goodness.
So it just inspired me to write a poem. One day it wasn't there, and then we couldn't live without it. One day television was king, and then we splintered away from it. One day it was on the desk, and suddenly it's on the tablet, like Moses descending from the mountain with the gift of hyper-connected madness. Some say that it's the devil's work, some say it's a human right, some think it's plunged the world to darkness, and other think it's brought the light. All I know is that 2 decades on, it's shaped every aspect of my life, from social media to porn. It's filled my world with love and strife. And if it switched off for a day, I would simply be bereft. Left alone for a week or month, I'd be tearing hair out of my head.
I really like that.
Oh, wonderful! That was lovely. Amazing.
I think it's. I really found the Moses coming off the mountain, like Moses coming off the mountain. The tablet pun was very funny.
That was a nice link. Yeah, it was real good.
Oh God, I've just done poetry.
Amazing, but you've done it once. You've done it once. Now it's really easy to do it again.
You have. I mean, so oh my goodness, the person with a poetry podcast did a poetry on a podcast.
This is fair.
Come to Scotland. We'll take you to an open mic night. We know all the poets who run the open mic nights. So you'll get a good audience.
Ooh.
We can get you in.
All right. Okay. All right. Anyway, fuck all that. You're listening to 3 Detectives in a Trench Coat. Three detectives in a trench coat. Three detectives in a trench coat.
Sorry, we didn't see you come in. Hello. Welcome to the podcast.
How long have you been here?
Oh, you didn't hear all of that, did you? Oh,
I hope you didn't hear anything that would drive you away.
Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone about my poetry.
Tell
everyone about it. This is the podcast where we kind of play Disco Elysium and talk. We kind of talk to we play Disco Elysium, then we talk to each other about it.
We talk to Disco Elysium and then we play each other.
We talk to the Pale, and sometimes it talks back to us. Brothers and non-binaryers, I have been blessed with the knowledge of the Pale. I sent you guys a video earlier this month, which I said, do not watch this until you have finished the game. It is...
I've still not seen it.
Well, good, don't, because it's spoilers ahoy.
Yes.
Someone has gone through A Sacred and Terrible Air, which is Kurvitz's previous book before Disco Elysium, and has sort of unpacked the themes of that and unpacked the world building of that and seen how it applies to Harry. And it may not just be that Harry is just like a deadbeat alcoholic cop. There might be a bit more going on with his amnesia and why he's decided to rid his entire brain
oh my goodness
of it.
I think it's a woman.
Beyond what the text says, essentially.
So
there is no subtext. There is only text.
There is only text. All we have in this world is text.
I mean, in Disco Elysium, a lot of the
strong
subtext has become text, so...
There is a lot of text in Disco Elysium.
There's an awful lot. If there's one thing you can say about Disco Elysium is that there's a lot of text. Like,
Yes.
There's a friend of mine I keep trying to persuade to play Disco Elysium. They're like, I don't play games. I'm like, this isn't a game.
yeah, I was speaking to my friend Ross McFarlane earlier today. We were waiting for the train to go back, and Ross was like, oh, what are you heading back for? And I'm like, oh, podcast recording. And oh, what are you recording? And I'm like, have I told you about Three Detectives in a Trench Coat yet? No. So I basically went so I started talking about Disco Elysium, and he's just like, oh no, I've been meaning to play it. And then he sort of said, what's like the skill level? Because the only kind of video game I play is Celeste. And I'm like, well, it's not as hard as Celeste in terms of like mechanics. Like you don't have to do any difficult jumps or anything like that. I mean, you do. You have to do one difficult jump, but you don't have to. It's not like a platforming thing. Like you just walk around and talk to people. It's more about problem solving rather than like reaction times. So I'm not sure I did a good sell, but I very other than just going, just play it. Like seriously, just play it. Like it will change your life. Just play it. It will make fun of you. It will taunt you. It'll change your life. You'll love it.
I would argue that the only thing you need to play Disco Elysium, arguably, is an undergrad degree.
That sounds a little elitist.
Ollie, I spit out my tea.
It is a little elitist.
It is nice that you didn't specify.
I just mean you need to be semi-engaged in the world.
It's all over me.
Oh,
So,
gosh.
yes, that's the one thing everyone can say about people who've been through university is how engaged they were about the world during the time.
Maybe I had a different university experience. I did do philosophy. I was thinking about things.
It's fair.
Allegedly.
I did philosophy and English.
Oh, you were thinking about things twice.
I was thinking about things and then figuring out how to read them in text.
I think I spent most of my thinking time trying to navigate the different departments I was in. I was in quite a few departments. And like, most of what I learned about the world at university was like, this is how to get two different communities to communicate with one another. And like,
wow.
these are the different rules. These are the different rule sets of how I submit essays in different ways in different departments.
That's really good.
And it became that was so much more. I got so many more relative. Like my relative growth in my any essay marking was about learning how to submit to the different part and like to maximize the different point categories. Then it was about reading an extra history text or an extra literary text or an extra archaeological article or anthropology or language or whatever. It was all like there was so many things I was studying that it was just about okay, so
navigating bits.
Yes, exactly. I found out that if I attach images to essays, I would get higher marks in all three subjects. So I always started I figured out how can I attach some form of image because they just loved that. And my grades went up. My grades went up 5% after I did that.
Incredible. And you became a statistician.
I did not, but that's nice of you to say.
Gosh, I remember the culture shock of going from a philosophy degree to a radio degree. In my first essay I wrote for a professor I won't name because I occasionally still hang out in the same circles as him. I wrote this essay which was about it was my kind of initial treatise on what it means to make radio. And I had done this degree in philosophy and in particular I'd done a bit about philosophy in film. And in film there's this figure of the tramp in sort of the Charlie Chaplin films.
Yeah.
And what's been written about him is that he is essentially pure id. Because he can't speak, he's kind of immune to the superego. He's kind of immune to these sorts of, pressures that language gives us and rules that language give us. And so he is sort of free in this sort of cartoon way. I kind of wanted to turn this on its head and say, okay, so what can we say? What does that say about radio? If radio is nothing but talking, then it's kind of purely superego. It's kind of about questions of morality and the different sort of barrages of opinion you get that sort of form your superego. And I submitted this to this professor who was a professor of history. I'd been writing for philosophers for 3 years, and I presented this philosophy text to this very positivist history of radio guy, and I got a mark back And in the feedback, he said, "Oh, I didn't buy it."
Oh.
I was like, I don't care if you bought it or not. How was the argumentation? It was a huge culture shock whip of just like, oh God, I'm going to have to learn to... And my other two colleagues who I was on the radio course with were both history students, and so just wrote history essays and got good marks. And I was just there every time, like, struggling with the nature of the phenomenology of radio and just being told, just... prove that you read the books. I'm like, I've read some of the books.
I've read so many books.
I read the wrong books for 3 years. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Shall we? not that I'm not enjoying this conversation, but shall we talk about the game?
Yes.
So last time I did a load of plot. James found the cryptozoologist. Ollie is waiting for the game to end.
Pretty much, yeah. That was what we learned last time, yeah.
I want to see how quick I can do it. I can do it. If I get it done by the end of today...
Is that your goal?
Not today... Well, we discussed last time that what we would do is play up until the end of Wednesday.
Is that the aim for tonight?
Well, this is the question I wanted to ask, is do we want to schedule in another one later this week so that we just have time to sit down and pluck away at the game until we finish Wednesday?
A disco homework session.
Disco homework?
Yeah.
Disco homework.
Disco homework.
Nice. Homeworko.
Disco extracurricular. I don't know.
Homework Elysium. If you wake up and there are fields of homework assignments.
Yes, shall we do that? Because so
the essays are at home in the mirror.
Yeah, you look at the mirror and you see a different essay question like come filter up and look back at you. Amazing. Okay.
This is the face of a late stage workaholic. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, so goals. Ollie, you are wanting to finish the game by the end of Wednesday.
This is the plan.
Amazing. Okay. Good stuff. James, what are your goals for this upcoming session?
I think one of the things that I really liked about the last session that I've thought about since is that I kind of uncovered a whole bunch of the map, and I am enjoying the kind of the cartography / Dungeons and Dragons style of like, ooh, more map has been revealed to me. So I do. So I have not really explored the south. If there is a southwestern part of the map. I haven't really explored it, so it would be nice to see if there is that one there, and because I think there's like mention of a hospital or something. Anyway, so I want to see if there is anything there, and that's what I'll go and look at.
Amazing. My goal is to speak to motherfucking Idiot Doom Spiral.
Yes.
There's been like 4 sessions now where it's been like, you need to talk to Idiot Doom Spiral. Like, I know, but stuff keeps happening. And also, I really want to find the cryptozoologist. I think James finding them in the last sessions really kind of piqued my interest. Because just the idea that there might be a cryptid in this game is fascinating to me. Because the thing is, it's one of those things where it's like, this could go either way. Right, this could be somebody desperately hunting in the midst for something that doesn't exist, but finding something along the way, or there is an actual goddamn cryptid wandering around somewhere. And either way, I want to find out what that is, and I want to figure that out.
Groovy.
I always feel like I sound like a bit like an idiot at the beginning of these things. I'm like, I don't remember, because I swear I finish every episode saying, my goal next time is going to be to find the Vorpal sword and defeat the Jabberwock. And then the next episode, I was like, I'm trying to discover the map. I
won't lie.
Many goals at the end, and I've forgotten what they are by the beginning.
I won't lie. Listening to earlier episodes, we do spend a lot of time going, next time I'm going to do this, and then we start the next episode, we've completely forgotten about
got nothing.
Yeah, so it's fine. It's part of the charm. It's part of the charm.
Is it? Okay, good.
Sure. Right.
We're fucking delightful.
We're a hoot.
We're a hoot and a half.
I mean, like, it's called 3 detectives in a trench coat, not 3 kind of bumbling idiots.
We're clearly not. We're not competent enough detectives to afford our own trench coats. We can only afford the one. I think that is a damning indictment of our ability as detectives.
I mean, I suppose this reinforces the whole children standing on each other's heads kind of thing.
I do love that, like Ollie, since you brought it up, I do love the idea of doing a live show but having a trench coat. Like, I don't know where we'd find this.
We'd have to get a custom made.
We'd have to get a custom trench coat.
It would cost all our patron money, which we haven't set up
If we can't afford that, then I suggesting if we do some sort of live thing is that we take it in turns to wear a trench coat.
So whoever is wearing the trench coat is the one to speak.
Yes,
that would be absurd. I in my head it was
that would be absurd.
We'd be touche.
But also maybe
well made.
Well, I mean, so like we could also give people on the front, like at the front, kind of water pistols, but they can only shoot the guy in the trench coat anytime.
For noir scenes. You know, it's a dark and stormy night, and you're getting rained on by small water pistols.
Isn't it? If you don't want us to do this, do not include that in the recording because we will be inundated with requests for that until.
It'll be the first ever show where the splash zone is the stage, not in the audience.
Oh man, I've been on stage with water, but you fall over.
Or we give each other water pistols. I don't know.
Just spray bottles, being like, "Stop it, down!" Like.
I think they did that on Kill James Bond.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm referencing.
But it was an anti-horny spray.
The anti-horny spray bottle, yeah.
Oh boy.
I love Kill James Bond. Amazing. That's a better podcast. Go listen to it.
No, stop. Don't. You change that. If you fucking change that dial.
Dial? What the fuck?
Don't touch the dial. I'm assuming you're listening to this on a Bakelite radio.
Listening to it on a wireless, yeah.
I'm assuming you ripped your headphones out of your crystal radio set to...
One thing I would really hope, Dev, is that everyone listening to this on any device, that device is probably going to be a wireless.
You've got me there. Yeah, no, you got me.
Do you want to know how much of an old man I am? I bought a pair of wired headphones today. But like the ones with the little Thunderbolt cable at the end so you can plug them into your iPhone.
Oh, that's good. Wired headphones are still better. So I'm going to go on a rant now. Sorry,
yes,
everyone.
Do it.
Like wired headphones still give you better signal. Wireless headphones don't. Bluetooth is not good for transferring information. Bad. It's fine if you're listening to if you're listening to say a podcast.
If you're listening to this podcast.
If you're listening to a podcast about, I don't know, 3 people talking about Disco Elysium, that's a really good idea. You should listen to that show.
I mean, let's be fair. 3 people not talking about Disco Elysium is a better description of this podcast.
2 people talking around Disco Elysium.
Talking adjacent to Disco Elysium. But wireless headphones are like you can tell that they're not good because people don't use them in studios because you're not getting all the information, you're not getting all the audio information. So if you're wanting to listen to music or you want to hear every frequency that our voices are giving out, you weird creep, you want wired headphones. You want wired headphones or good speakers. I have a pair of wireless Bluetooth headphones that I listen to podcasts on to help me get to sleep. I love them very much. I have them in most of the time when I'm doing things. But if I'm actually wanting to listen to sit down and listen to something,
I would never make some Bluetooth headphones.
I have a pair of plug-in over-ear headphones that I listen to.
My favourite headphones are not good headphones, but for sleeping, the headband headphones you can get. Which
I love those. Yes,
they're just so comfortable. It's like wearing a pillow to sleep around your head that has the dulcet sounds of some favourite podcast actors.
Say a podcast about 3 people talking at least perfunctorily about Disco Elysium. That sounds like a good podcast. You should listen to that.
Yeah. Patreon also is a good do that.
Yeah, you should also help them make that podcast.
Are we done shilling? Is it time to play some disco?
No, never done shilling.
Okay, good. That's what I like to hear.
ABC, always be calling out the Patreon.
One of my, not pet peeve, maybe pet peeve. Of the 3 people who make Kane and Fields, I'm the only one who shills it.
Oh, that's a
That's why
shame.
I'm everywhere.
Oh wow!
I'm pulling
you're
weight.
you're the salesperson of
I'm the
that
salesperson.
podcast. You?
Yeah, I know.
Ooh.
That's why we're marginally successful.
Oh my
We would
goodness!
be moderately successful otherwise.
I'd argue that Tin Can Audio is successful in spite of my marketing. Right.
Good lord.
Okay, so Ollie's going to finish the game. James is
I'm gonna try
going
and finish the
to
game.
explore the map. I'm going to find cryptozoologist an idiot motherfucking doom spiral.
Yes.
We're gonna play for
Yes,
a couple of
good
hours,
goals.
try and get to the end of Wednesday. I don't know why I'm pumped all of a sudden. Yeah, we're gonna try and get to the end of Wednesday. Anything else we want to talk about before we jump in?
No, just good FAB.
FAB.
Everybody, good luck,
Yeah.
detectives. Let's
Good
get
luck,
into it.
detectives.
Let's go. Let's go.
Go.
Let's
Let's
go. Let's
Let's
go.
Hello, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Sherlock Morris. As you've heard already plenty in this podcast, we do have a Patreon, and you can subscribe to it and help us keep the lights on. Yeah, we got lots of bits and bobs and goodies and doodads and who knows what else on there. So, yeah, get yourself over and have a little look around, and then we can all have some fun together. It'll be great. Groovy. All right, back to the podcast. I can tell my grandma's story on air. I can do it on the podcast.
So Ollie, how's your grandma doing?
She's doing great. She's doing wonderfully right now. But there was a point where I can't remember what happened. She either fell down some stairs, or she knackered her knee, or she had a trip or something, and they were like, all right, we need to put you on some drugs. The thing with the NHS is that when you get to a certain age, all the worries about like getting addicted to things fucking you up long term. Like if you're 70, the continued use of like amphetamines isn't really a problem because you've only got 2 decades left max, maybe 3 if you're lucky. But like, it's not the same as taking a bunch of, like crazy drugs when you're in your 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
So they just gave her what was basically the medical equivalent of medical grade speed. And so she became this whirlwind for like 2 months as she was sort of recovering. And I remember I had this job at the museum, and I left my house. And James, you've been to my house. I do not keep a tidy house, unfortunately. It's something I'm working on, but
Good. Good.
yeah, but I do not keep a tidy house. And I did not keep a tidy bedroom. When I have communal spaces, I tidy those up, but when it comes to my own space, I just let it all hang out. So, I go to work at 8 a.m, and I come back to my bedroom, and it is pristine. And I go, Grandmother, I cannot help but notice that my bedroom has been tidied. Because when they came round, she, to our kind of family home, she would live across the hall from me. So we had this little, the spare bedroom was kind of, I was in the room at the front of the house, and there was a spare bedroom next door, basically. So I said, Grandmother, I can't help but notice that my room has been tidied. And she said, I couldn't bear sitting in my room knowing that was next door.
I know the feeling. I 100% know that feeling. Oh.
And so I had to. And I think if she had not been on speed, she would have been able to contain herself. And I said, Grandmother, that is a very lovely thing you have done. Please do not do it again. It is such an invasion of privacy.
It is a little bit of an invasion of privacy. Yeah. Tiny little invasionlet of privacy.
Which is a long story short saying I did speed in this run.
Oh, I see.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Let's talk about
Yes.
that. Let's go in. Let's roll into it.
Sure.
So,
okay. So you did speed.
I did some speed.
What is the equivalent of speed? Is it actually speed, or it's called speed, or is it something called something else?
It's speed. They call it speed.
They call it speed.
In fact, there were 2 instances of uppers in this episode. One was the speed, and the other was a story from. I will not go into too much detail, but there was a story given to me by Idiot Doom Spiral about the cocaine skull.
Ooh, that sounds
Idiot Doom Spiral has some fun stories.
Idiot Doom Spiral has some amazing stories.
Hopefully, we find from Dev that Dev has found some stories.
I did.
Dev,
I found Idiot Doom Spiral. The
Good.
strangest fucking
Have you
thing
plied him with
happened.
alcohol yet?
I have, but the strangest fucking thing happened with one of his friends, and I'm going to talk about that later.
Good.
Okay.
We'll get to
It
that.
involves the necktie.
Yes. I know exactly what you're
I
talking
don't,
about.
but it sounds familiar. It sounds right.
So basically, I went to go complete the game, and I realized I had managed to lock myself out of all the shit I needed in order to... So in order to find the person I need to find, I need to present a good enough theory to Titus. The other way to do it is to get more information for Titus is to talk to the disco dancer who's sitting
Yep.
on the roof.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
I was
can't
like...
figure out how to get to.
oh, you have to go through her bedroom.
Well, I mean, I haven't been able to figure out how to get to her bedroom yet. So okay, well, I'll get to that at some point, sure.
So I load up the game. I go outside. I chat to her. I realize I'm white. I'm blocked out of any of the white checks with her. Go into her bathroom. Find the speed. Take the speed.
Yep.
Go downstairs. Try and talk to Titus. I'm locked out of that as well. And the whole time this is playing, heavy jungle and drum and bass music is iterating from my ears, is just kind of pounding in my ears, because that's the soundtrack I've chosen for this episode.
In-game? Is that in-game drum and bass or out-of-game drum and bass?
You might have noticed a video I posted called "Do You Like Jazz?"
Oh, I did not notice you posting videos. Okay.
We'll put a link in the description of the episode for the listeners.
It's a banger.
It is a banger.
ladies and
It is a
gentlemen.
banger.
Okay, I look forward to trying
Had
it
it
along
on
with
for the
all.
past half hour.
So I go downstairs. Titus is there. I try and talk to Titus. I'm locked out of that. So I'm like, right. In order to progress, in order to complete this game, I need... Oh shit, what do I need? I need 22 more experience points. So that I can get one more point in logic, so I can go present this logical argument to Titus. This is where I'm at emotionally.
Oh, hang
So
on.
I'm running around trying to find drum and bass pounding in my ears. I'm trying to find 22 experience points.
Oh
just
my!
in
Oh
the
my
world.
God!
That's so funny.
Wow. Okay.
So I go up and I chat to Joyce, and I chat to Joyce about... I mentioned the Pale.
Yeah.
And basically, Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi is like, hey, don't talk about the Pale. And he goes to Joyce and he goes, don't talk to him about the Pale. And it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll sneak off later and do it. And then I got this little check, which is like, ask Kim to beg her off for a bit.
Yeah.
So you can talk about the Pale.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so I asked him and he begged off for a bit. And so I talked to her about the Pale. And I now know about the Pale because of this video that I've sent you guys that you're not allowed to watch.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so I'm now learning about the Pale while understanding the Pale.
Ooh.
Because she goes into a lot of detail about the Pale and what it is and how it works and yada yada yada. But she doesn't. But I know what the Pale is. She doesn't. And so I am there going, okay, so...
Okay.
And she's interested. She's like, you shouldn't be in the Pale for more than 6 days.
Yeah.
And I've spent 6 days a year. I've spent 22 days a year because I'm trained. And I go, okay, that's crazy. And then I talk to Kim, and Kim is like, oh, fuck, do you know about the Pale now? And he's like, yes, I know about the Pale. And he's like, I really wish you didn't know about the Pale, because it's a kind of huge existential... It'd be like if you got amnesia and then somebody explained to you how mutually assured destruction works.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. Actually,
It's like, you know, it's like, okay, so the way that we maintain peace is we all have nukes, which can just end the world. And it's like, okay. And sometimes we threaten each other with them. Okay, like, you know, when you learn about that for the first, that's just something you have to grapple with existentially when you learn it. And so I have learned this, and now I have to solve a fucking murder case. Like, everything pales in comparison. And so I'm like, I know, I need to learn more. So I run over to the crazy woman with white hair, who's one of the lorry drivers.
Okay, yes.
And I go, I figured out what's wrong with you. And she's like, what's wrong with me? It's like, you drive through the pale. And she's like, yeah, I drive through the fucking pale, and it fucked me up big time. And so I'm talking to her about it, and Kim is like, oh, for fuck's sake, I knew this would happen. I knew if I told you about the pale, then every single person we ever talk to ever again, you would just ask them about the pale. And I'm like, yes, Kim, that is exactly what is happening. So, yes. So I'm now interrogating this woman about the pale, and suddenly I have, like, different goals. Because I'm chatting to her, and I unlock this theory called, this thought in the thought cabinet called the motorway south.
Yes.
Yes. Have you unlocked it?
I've unlocked it, yes. I don't think... Let me check. I think I might actually be internalizing it. Give me just a second.
It takes like 8 hours, and it fucks with your visual calculus.
Yeah. Yes, I have it. I haven't internalized it.
So that'll be a fun thing we can talk about next time, maybe.
Once I get another skill point, I'll internalize it. Yes, because I'm desperately curious about it.
So I finally go, and so I get this this skill comes up, this new thought in the thought cabinet, which is it's this thing. It's the motorway south, and then I get a ding, and I get a new experience point, and I'm like, okay, fuck it. Let's unlearn Lawjaw, put the new one there, and now I'm going to have to find another 100 experience points.
Oh, no.
So I'm not going to get it done till at least Thursday.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's not a speed run. It's fine.
It's not a speed
also,
run.
I'm glad you're not finishing it long before, like, episodes before Dev and I finish it. Because, I don't want to be sitting there wondering, okay, well, I'll talk to you in 2 hours about the experiences you've had while you're not playing a game. So, yeah.
Ollie, from what you've just said, I think I'm much further through the game than I think I am. So, the point you're at, I tell you, I'm gonna try and find a way of communicating this without giving anything away.
Try Morse code.
Tis a radio medium.
I'm trying to make Titus tell me where somebody is.
Yes.
Is that where you are? Oh my god. Okay, I'm actually quite far through the game then. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I get the impression that Titus is a big, kind of like a 2/3 or 3/4 like choke point.
Yeah.
To be fair, a lot of story happens very quickly once you've proved.
Once you crack Titus.
I got so much closer to it, but I didn't quite get it. I'll get it until time.
We gotta get you chatting to the disco dancer. You'll get some points.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! Like the game just opens up. It's amazing.
Okay, I'm gonna figure it out because I have come back to that door a few times, but it's just always been like a repetition of like just knocking and closing. So we'll just see what happens.
So having learnt about Kurvitz's book, and having learnt about what the Pale actually is from Kurvitz's book, which the translation of that book alone has been very difficult because it's in Estonian.
Okay.
So there have been multiple translation attempts, one including like an Estonian speaker trying to translate it, one which is like somebody tried to get an AI to just translate,
oh no,
from Estonian to English, and it just melted its processors. And so instead they got a Russian version of the book, and then tried to translate it from Russian to English like that with some help with AI. This
is like how the classics were preserved. Like they were translated into Arabic and then had to be translated back into the Rosetta Stone stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. This Rosetta Stone on the hieroglyphics is just Kurvitz's knowledge base. And, is it Greek? Is it Mesopotamia? I can't remember what was the language between that was the kind of the Rosetta Stone is famous for.
I think it was Greek and it was Ptolemaic.
I think it must be earlier. It must be Mesopotamia, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. Right.
Because there are still Greeks around today, but I don't know if there are any Mesopotamians.
Yeah, but I don't. Write in, listeners. Tell us
answers
on the back of a postcard.
Save us from ourselves.
Yes, please. If you tell us, we might actually do the podcast properly.
So now I'm getting more experience points by helping some ravers empty out a church, so that I can get more points, so I can solve the mystery.
Yeah, I've got I'm quite relieved now that I'm kind of on that bit, because the description of it is very much just like, you need to do some shit before you can do this, which I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can do that. Gives me an excuse to start doing other things.
Got to run the clock.
Well, really, I was just like, right, okay, I'll get to 9 o'clock and then I'll go speak to the smoker on the balcony, because I've not done that yet. I have heard about a thing you can do with that character, and I'm very curious to see if I can make it work. But the thing is, it got to 9 o'clock right at the point where we're the 2 hours was up. So I was like, oh no! But I'll do that for the next time we chat.
Groovy.
Yeah. So I had a fucking weird ass thing happen with Idiot Doom Spiral. Or more specifically with Rosemary. So I walk up to Idiot Doom Spiral. I see the three of them, and I'm like, I think this is our man. And
what was your first clue? I must know.
Well, just because I was basically there was three. You told me that there was three guys sitting around. One of them was wearing a green jacket, and I was like, oh, this looks like the dudes. But then also my horrific necktie was like, that man over there. And I'm like, what is that? It's like, the bottle, we need the bottle. And I'm like, okay, right, this is weird. Okay, so I talk to Idiot Doom Spiral, go through it, get the quest stuff. Idiot Doom Spiral's cool, chill, has some wild stories. But then so I go speak to Rosemary, and Rosemary is selling this bottle. It's this bottle of clear liquid for 300 real, right? Mm-hmm. And the necktie like, we need it! Kill him if you have to! We need this! We need this bottle so bad! You can't begin to imagine. It's what we need for the final quest! And I'm like, I have no... What the fuck is going on? So I'm like, okay, I don't have 300 real. So I'm talking to the guy, and he's like, yay, tequila sunrise, whatever. And then basically forgets that he's charging 300 real for it, and instead charges 3. So you just have to talk to this guy for a bit, and he'll bring down the price by 297 real, exactly. So I get this. Horrific Necktie is like, yes, don't drink it though. It's what is it? Well, fuck it, I wrote it down. Just like, this is too good for oral consumption, and I'm like, I'm scared now. I'm scared, actively worried, quite scared, because what it is, it's medical grade alcohol. It is 98.7% alcohol.
Yes.
And I'm just like, all right, okay. So then I gained a new task called Spirit is Eternal. And all it says is hold on to the spirits and wait for the signal.
Yes.
Because the necktie is getting ready for the end game.
Yes.
I'm like, what?
Do not stop wearing the tie. Do not drink those spirits.
I am scared to take the necktie off now.
Good.
I am quite scared.
As a reward, next time I play the game, I will give my bottle of blue spirits to Idiot Doom Spiral and see what happens.
I was very tempted to save the game and drink it, but I'm like, no. Because I did end up dying in this playthrough, though.
Oh, no!
Because
Rest in peace.
I found a phone.
Oh, the phone! You did the phone!
I did the phone. But the thing is, right, I'm actually tempted to try and do it again, because I went into the store, and they have a thing that gives you 3 morale back.
Oh yeah.
So I'm tempted to try and do it again with that to try and stop me from running out of real. Stop me running out of morale.
Yeah, you can also, if you get to your last bar of health, you can soak up a Nosafed or a whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
A magnesium.
Yeah, I'm the thing is, I didn't have anything.
Do you not have any?
God.
Have you not been collecting? I found myself surrounded by these things. I've
been using them, unfortunately.
I've been
using them.
You've been clicking on some bad choices, man.
Well, just I get hurt. Like my morale is taking a kicking throughout this game. But like, it's the first time
the chair does that.
Yeah, like it's the first time I died through morale and not health. So basically, it seems you just have a nervous breakdown, and the headline was "Cop gives up detective genre for social realism," and went to live under a bridge. So that happened. But I want to give that a go again. At the next playthrough, and I've written it down so I don't forget. James, what happened in your playthrough? Tell us about it.
So a few things. I did do the phone. I did that. I did go back to the phone because I think I talked about it last time, and I did make that long. Did get through to the final call. I don't know if I clicked the right choices in order to learn anything special, anything that that changes the game in any particular way. So I'd be interested, Dev, to see if you do, or if you learn the same things I do.
I thought it was really, really interesting how you dial the number, things start to go wrong, and you need to pass a really difficult check to hang up the phone.
Yes.
That's really good. That's a really
volition.
good bit
Your
of
volition
writing.
is like to hang up, and you try, and it's like, nah.
It's like a 7% chance. It's that's really clever. That's
godly.
That's really, really good.
But I think I got to the same point there because I also kind of just hung on to that phone call for a second. But you get a lot of dialogue choices, so I wonder if I just made the wrong ones.
The worst thing about those dialogue choices is that because I tried to hang up as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
This time, because of the way I'm playing this character. And I got through, and I tried to hang up, and I couldn't. And then I basically, after every dialogue choice, I tried to hit hang up again.
Oh wow!
And it was like, nah, you're in it. You're just in it.
You've chosen this. Yeah.
How interesting.
Yeah, you dialed the number.
That's really like I love how we're having this discussion about so we tried this thing and it killed us. And we're going to try it again, but we're going to be ready this time. I love that. I mean, it's a very human thing.
It's going to try and kill us.
And that is the only way in which Disco Elysium is like other video games. Like, that is the most normal video game thing in this game is, hey, we didn't succeed, let's try again, but this time with different equipment.
Except the thing we're trying and failing at is a phone call!
Just a phone call to, like... A phone call to someone.
To the past.
To the past. There's a man there.
I did like
care?
the little...
I didn't, but that was maybe wrong.
I did like the mini scenes where, like leading up to that phone call, where you're just calling random people and you get these really lovely, very, very sad stories.
Harry knows all the worst numbers to call.
Yeah.
Speaking of phone calls, did you guys... There's a phone in... Not... there's a phone in the office that...
Yes. That one.
Yes. There's a phone in the office.
There's phone... Yeah, the office of... like the
where you find the Communist
office.
Magazine.
Oh,
yes, in the Union office.
Yeah. I tried
Did you guys call that number?
I don't remember. It's a few episodes ago.
So you call that number and it calls a video shop.
That's fun.
Yes.
This is quite early on in the game.
Yes, I remember this now. Yeah. And you've rented something horrible or something. I can't remember.
It's not that it's. I think that it's not that you've rented something that is like objectively horrible. I think it's just something that is horrible to you. It is horrible to your core. It destroys you in some way. And I think one of the things that I'm admiring now that I'm sort of playing through this game again is that I'm sort of exploiting bits and bobs and sort of fast traveling through bits of story and stuff like this. There is still a way that the game gives you information, but also locks off information to you through geography.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, that horrible call that we're all discussing, you can't make that call until you have visited the island. There is no way for you... There is one way for you to get that information before you get to the island, and that is through a caustic echo.
Oh, wow.
Which you get from doing the Ledger of Oblivion and then going, wait, why did I do that? And then it goes, oh, you fuck, you ruined it forever now.
Yeah.
I think I did that anyway, before this phone call. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So it's a fascinating game. There's not another... I know there's apparently games like it, like Planescape Torment is apparently this game's forerunner, but I don't think it will hurt in the same way.
It not hurt in the same way. That's wonderful.
It knows how to get it. Doesn't hurt that good. Doesn't hurt as good.
It doesn't hurt in that former Soviet bloc Eastern way.
Yeah, that
no
particular,
one knew to hurt. No one knew how to hurt like the former Soviet Eastern bloc. Sorry.
That joke is very tense at this particular moment in history.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. No, that's I mean, maybe we should hold off on publishing this until I don't know.
Well, what until sunflowers grow in Ukraine again, or oh god.
So,
all right, Ollie, you know it's cut. Anyway,
do we have?
Sorry, Oliver.
Do we have anything else? Did any other interesting stuff happen?
Oh yeah. So I did make that call, but there were two things. I thought I had more map to explore. It turns out I didn't really have much more map to explore. I had one building left to explore, and I think I have now explored the whole map. But other than like bits within the map, I think I've gone to the corners. But I did. So there were a couple of things I did not know what to do. So I did a couple of things randomly. I went as far as I think, not quite as far, but almost as far as I think you can go with the Phasmid related quests. I spoke to the cryptozoologist. I then did a lot of his work for him. And
checking the nets,
and then spoke to Lena, and then I may go check the nets again. But I really completed all of the task related to that quest, all the task and map related activities to that quest. So it's just kind of it might be an optional side quest from here. And the funny thing about that is at some point, Kim really gets kind of into it, which is quite fun. I think I got him to. He got him to be really sarcastic at one point. At some point, I said stop being sarcastic, and he said something along the lines of, "Me sarcastic? I'm not being sarcastic," and it was brilliant. And so I spent a good amount of the last playtime on that. And the other thing I did, and I actually put hard-earned skill points into this, is I was going to buy the found pants from Kuno because that was the earliest task I had that I had not completed, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do that. Let's see if I can do that. So I go and talk to Kuno. Can't talk to him. Try again. Success the second time, but it was tough. So I talked.
You spent 2 points.
I spent 2 points, increasing my what's the empathy points?
Empathy.
In order, because I tried, failed, put a point in, tried, failed, put a point in, tried, succeeded. Which was not necessarily a good way of spending time, but Kuno also was relevant to the cryptozoologist quest, so it all felt connected, which was nice. But I didn't.
Yes.
I think it's kind of funny because as a result of that, I didn't really progress much on the actual murder case at all. But I felt like I got something done.
And if you want to get the full faun outfit, you can go to Zaum/Altia, where they sell a full faun tracksuit for like €300.
Oh my word!
Along with Kim's bomber jacket and Harry's jacket and the hideous necktie and a bunch of other things.
Wait, whoa, hang on. Sorry, you can buy the hideous necktie.
Actually, you can buy the hideous necktie from Zaum itself for 15 quid.
50.
I wore it to one of my friends' weddings. That wedding, and in true disco form, it was a beautiful wedding. It was on a little islet in the middle of the Thames. But it had an inside. My jacket had this inside pocket, which was just big enough to put a tall boy of Budweiser in there. Like a pint can of Carlsberg or something. And so we're all waiting for the boat to get back because we have to get this little ferry that travels from the islet back to the mainland. And I just pull out this can and crack it open, and the groom's father starts cackling louder than I've ever heard someone cackle in their life, because they were like, "That is the funniest thing I've ever seen." They said. And then I managed to save the bride's mother's corsage, I think, like big flowery thing. There was just a big flowery thing on the floor. I picked it up and put it in my lapel.
Oh.
And then the bride came up to me and said, "Ollie, that's my mum's." And I was like, "Okay, I'll give it back." And so I gave it back, and I was one of the heroes of the wedding after that.
Oh,
That's a wonderful story, but that feels so Disco Elysium. Both those stories.
That's how I live my life.
Both those stories of like,
I try to live my life as disco as possible.
Like you went to a wedding and you managed to off like say four usual average potential parental figures at a wedding. You managed to have an interaction with two of them as a result of items you either had on you, brought with you, or found around the wedding environment. That's just what we've been doing in this podcast for the last 10 episodes.
All I needed was a pair of red brogues, and I'd have. All I needed is to find a pair of shoes, and I'd have been rolling it.
If you'd been wearing black shoes, you'd been gotten indirect means of taxation after all.
Oh yes, I'd have got a free real for every time I mentioned libertarianism.
Oh dear.
Or is it chaos is my method, I am its Scion, as Harry says at one point. I've just started writing down cool quotes whenever I'm doing these playthroughs now.
That's brilliant.
Tequila sunset will break the looms of reality. Which I thought was quite fun.
That's an important one.
Yeah, and also I used to own my reality situation, which I thought was a really lovely line.
I used to own by the way, Idiot Doom Spiral's voice actor is probably my favorite voice actor in the whole game.
I don't know. I feel like I still prefer Clasier's Clasier's voice actor. I think
Clasier's voice actor is very good, but there is just something about, "Hey, Tequila, what's going on with you? I'm having a wonderful day, dying slowly in the dying light of the sun. It's all good here, and I'm going to continue to rot my guts with this very nice Pilsner that you have given me in exchange for..." And he just goes on and fucking on.
I love it. I tried saving the world, but it didn't work out, so we're drinking. I love that. It's a philosophy. That's great. Also, so one of the Hardy Boys at one point said, "You can't do anything with an underdose," which I thought was really nice.
Here.
Yeah, I will say actually, in terms of voice actors, that one of the things I've been really impressed with is all the children's voice acting, because I can imagine that, and I don't play enough video games to know this, but I can imagine that there are unconvincing child voice actors out there, and not a single one have entered this game. This is not Harry Potter 1 repeated. This is a very well acted game.
So my first playthrough of Disco Elysium was in 2020, before the final cut. So they got back most of the voice actors that they were able to get, but one of the voice actors they couldn't get back was Kuno.
Oh, interesting.
Because in the original game, it was not fully voice acted.
Okay.
In the original game, the key lines were voice acted, and then the rest of it was just sort of read the text. Which made it impossible to let's play it, for example. And so that's one of the reasons the final cut came out. That's one of the reasons it gained popularity, yada, yada, yada. But the original voice actor for Kuno, because the voice actor was like, "Fuck, does Kuno care? Yeah, get away with you. You just sort of..." In Disco Elysium, he was about, in the original Disco Elysium, he was about 3 levels up. And his voice actor was like, "Fuck, does Kuno care? Kuno's a speed freak." It was a marvel. It was my favorite voice in the game at that point. But yes. Anyway, sorry. Yes.
No, that's so good.
I moved my mic back for that because I didn't want it clear.
I wrote down at one point, "Tag yourself and don't call Abigail." Just 3 people sitting around doing leisure activities. I'm like, oh, that's just us, isn't it?
Don't call Abigail.
Is this our future?
Oh, boy.
Oh God.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
James, do you want to be Rosemary or Idiot Doom Spiral? Because I'll take either.
I think you'd be a better Idiot Doom Spiral. You've got the stories. You just told to.
That's true. And then you're there with your indirect modes of taxation, trying to sell a bottle of spirits for 300 real.
It does.
And then forgetting the price and selling it for 3 back.
That sounds more like me.
Did we learn anything about the world today? Like, just about our world from Disco Elysium?
I sort of did.
Okay.
Go
So
on.
first of all, I learned a lot about the plot in a way that actually made me gasp a couple of times.
Oh wow.
Like I love this game. It's fantastic, but like I feel like the actual main plot is a really well written detective story.
Yeah.
Like it's a really interesting, meaty detective story that I'm really enjoying. Like I did some more crime scene stuff today. Accidentally solved the Doomed Commercial District quest
Nice.
because I had to go back and inspect the body. And also, Kim left at 5:00.
Oh, really?
I got
Why?
So I had to go back to the body for plot-related reasons that I can't get into here. But basically finished with the body, and then Kim was like, "Right, well, time to take this away." And then Kim just leaves for the rest of the day and doesn't come back till the next morning. So I played most of this session Kimless, which was very weird. But Kim complimented me.
You feel unsupervised.
A little bit unsupervised. So all of Idiot Doom Spiral was unsupervised. And also I found Morel as well, and I'm helping out Morel, and that was also unsupervised.
That's fun.
And also, I wrote this down. Whom's the fuck is Gary the crypto fascist?
Oh fuck Gary.
Yeah,
Gary can get
Gary's
fucked.
not great.
The thing is,
Gary's not great, especially if you're there with Kim.
oh really?
Yeah.
That's maybe what I missed out because I wasn't there with Kim. I was just on my own. Okay.
I would say it's worth talking more to Gary, from my experience.
In my first playthrough, I find him 200 real because I found a reason to.
Oh, I'm gonna do that.
Did you get the 200 real?
No.
Okay.
Oh, what?
But I find him here.
That's the principle of the thing, I guess.
There's sensible amounts you can find him, but I was like, no, I want to throw the book at this crypto fascist.
Yeah, it's introduced as the crypto fascist, like straight away. Oh, also, I had a bath.
Oh, did you?
Having a bath is good. To the point where I was enjoying the bath so much, I took the beer cans out of the bath. and
Oh man.
it was really good. But the thing is, like, Morel had sprayed me with the bug pheromones, so I didn't fully have a bath because I needed to keep my head above water in case the pheromones wore off. But yeah,
I have never had a bath in Disco Elysium.
it's really nice. It's actually really lovely. Like it is very much a moment of, like, the game does a really good job of giving you a moment of zen.
I tell you what I did do.
Yes.
I shaved my chops off.
You can shave? You can
You
shave?
can shave your chops off.
Oh my god. Like, does it affect your character portrait as well?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Also, I haven't done it yet, but if you can get rid of the expression.
Yes, but you need lots of, like, electrochemistry, isn't it? Like, it's a check.
You need something.
Yeah.
You need.
You need something.
So, I mean, were you able to do that in the mirror, which causes you harm in the very first?
No,
moment?
I had to do it in the shack.
Right. I was wondering because
I've not probably been in the shack yet.
I've been very tempted to look back in that mirror now that I've learned about myself, and I thought, no, I don't think they've written anything different. I think I'll just lose my health points or morale points. So I haven't. But it's this kind of, this was always kind of push-pull factors with this game of, like, but I want to know, because there's so many. I mean, this isn't. Like, you think of a logic tree. This is no longer a logic tree. This is much more like a bush, or just one of those mirrors you look into and there are infinite levels of mirrors reflecting everywhere. And the corners bounce around like crazy. It's just, they could have written something like that. They could have, it's hurt you earlier, and you didn't give you any suggestion to go back, but if you do, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Which is crazy part of the game's logic.
So neither of you got to the end of Wednesday. This is correct?
I'm at 9:30
Yes.
in the evening, so I think I'm
I'm at
close.
9 o'clock, so yeah, I'm pretty close. So I think.
When you go to bed,
because this is where you get a quest.
this is where you get a vision quest. A political vision quest.
Ooh.
So what I was going to say is that I have dibs on the morality quest.
Okay. Okay.
So fight amongst yourselves for communism, ultraliberalism, or fascism.
I suspect I'm gonna pick the communism one.
Okay,
James?
I guess based on those three, ultra-liberal. No, centralism. Okay, so ultra-liberalism sounds closest.
If you want me to go back, I can switch out my morality for cold hard cash.
No, I guess I'll do ultraliberalism. It's I don't want to do fascism. That sounds tedious.
Yeah, no, fascism ain't fun.
So yeah.
You can quote me on that.
Episode title is sorted.
There was something about the ultra-liberalists being the first up against the wall today, or something like that. In my playthrough, we find out who gets up against the wall. There's one building where you can explore.
Oh, the Feld Center.
Like the Feld building. A bunch of bullet holes. It's very interesting.
So you get the Wompty Dumpty Dom Center.
I don't have a full enough understanding of the. I mean, it's conveyed very well. I'm just not very good at intuiting or kind of taking in all the information and putting it in the right in a map in my head. So I'm not very good at kind of connecting all the political dots.
It's a spider's web. You know when you have like a corner full of spiders' webs, and you take a duster and you kind of twirl it up, and you have like this cotton candy of spider web. That's what the Disco Elysium lore is like. It's just layers of interconnected madness on top of each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Kim is like, please just try and solve the murder. Please just try and solve the murder. If you start thinking too hard about the pail, your brain will explode. Which is why I'm thinking hard about the pail at the moment.
Right. So we are gonna finish Wednesday, and then we're going to have another recording session for this episode.
Yeah.
Anything we want to talk about before we wrap up on this recording session?
I love Kim.
Yes, me too.
I want to say that
too.
Because I feel like I've betrayed him this session by becoming a madman obsessed with the pail, but I still love Kim.
I want to say that I love the novelty dice maker who sits in an old chimney carving dice and listens to faraway foreign call-in streams. I had such a beautiful time talking to her, and
she's wonderful.
I didn't want to leave. I've asked for a die, and I'm curious to find out what that does when I get it in 8 hours.
James, what do you love?
I love Kuno. I think he's misunderstood child.
Aww.
He's misunderstood.
Enemies to lovers.
Yeah, I think he's just like I'm really glad I did the whole empathy thing, because you learn a bit more about him, and
you see the whole empathy thing.
Did the whole empathy.
Are you going to get him his speed?
I am not.
Are you going to steal the speed from his father?
I did see that there was a quest relating to illegal drugs or illegal narcotics, what it was, I think it was called in the game. I'm trying to play this character as a very kind of drug-free character. Yes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel very in character to do it. But if I feel like there's nothing, there are no paths that feel open to me, which has happened a couple of times in this game. I might click on that.
You might go steal some drugs.
I don't think so, because it sounds not like the character I'm trying to play.
Fair enough. I respect that.
Wonderful. Well, we need some sort of big explosion to end on. So,
boom.
Well, we're technically not ending though, are we? We're we've got more recording to do.
We've got a weird transition.
I think. I think we can maybe try and cut it so it's it's smooth.
We could do that as well.
But I guess.
Or we could just end in the middle of a sentence. Hello, it's me, Ollie, your local friendly neighbourhood Nepo baby, going to the middle to talk to you again, except we've already chatted this time, so it would feel disingenuous to ask you for money again, so instead, I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that I had 2 poems to share, and since I've shared one, I'll share the other. Skulking in the shadows, dodging past the curtains, sneaking to the freezer to dunk your head within. This cold coffin, sweet rest from scorching rays that peek through every crack that the window panes allow. Cross-legged in quiet darkness, reading books by candlelight as beads of evil, human sweat drip down your brow and onto pages, smudging your copy of Dracula. If only I had no blood to cool. If only I had no moisture to release. If only I could sleep all day and prowl in the night in comforting breezes on London streets, lit only by the moon and yellow lanterns. Alright, okay, back to your regularly scheduled disco programming.
Are we back?
I don't know.
Are we back? You didn't know.
I personally thought that was a fantastically smooth transition. Well done there, everyone.
Yeah, I thought so.
Well done. Big hand. Round of
well
applause.
done.
So,
After the count of 5.
it is. So it's a week has been vanished
No one's
into a
going
moment.
to get that. We've been cutting those. Sorry, James. You were doing actual work.
So, visions of the... So, sleeping. Sleeping is something that Harry can't do.
Oh, right. Was that the jumping off point we were going for? All right.
I guess so.
I think one of the problems of trying to make the magic of radio happen is that you should probably remember what you were talking about immediately before the magic was working.
So you go to sleep at the end of Wednesday, and then you are given a quest. What are we calling these? Are these politics quests?
Political vision quest.
Political vision quests. So you get given them, and basically, like, as far as I can tell, the game kind of assigns you one that it thinks the one you're most likely to pick.
I had 3
two
options.
See, I was only given the one. That was the thing, because I was basically told, you're a communist, and I went, all right, okay. And then, but the thing is, I kind of knew that was the one I was going to pick anyway. And it had the wonderful tagline: "Together, maybe you'll be able to build as much as 0.0002% of communism," which I thought was quite fun. And but yeah, I'm curious to what multiple options looks like. We started talking about it, and then went, oh crap, we should probably start recording while we talk about these.
Yes. Partly because I got a sort of... Because this was part of our homework that we had to do in order to finish the episode. And I got a slightly panicked message from James today saying, hey, which of these do I go? And one of the options...
So I have a choice between, this kind of moralism, I guess. I mean, listen, these are the choices that I've discovered these are the names of the choices I've discovered after the fact by looking it up. But in the moment, you're just given like these kind of these sentences which are kind of hard to understand. I think I sent a few to you, Ollie. What were the options I had?
You had to me. We're making progress. Measured, steady progress, or I can't give up. I have to keep going forever, Shoal.
And this is in this is in a response to the question of basically why do you keep doing this? And what I like is each of those two options, and these are political vision quests, but it's impossible to know that outside of kind of this meta environment. If you're just playing the game, it's like, okay, I guess I'm just being told. I have a couple of thoughts I could have. I could either be doing something for Revachol or to make steady progress, and I don't know what the implications of that is. It turns out that if you pursue, I have to keep going for Revachol, that's the fascist route.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Or the way it's called, the traditionalist route, which I'm finding somewhat interesting as a combination. But or the other one, which I feel like I have been kind of really pushing for, is kind of the kind of slow incrementalism, moralism is the way they described it in the game. But what I also really liked about this particular moment was that they came from different, strengths, skills, being succeeded. Like the empathy was described as being for the greater. It has what I'm seeing on my screen is the ancient reptilian brain saying, "You'll go insane if you keep going like this. One more day and you'll be in the loony bin. I just know you will. And for what, brother man?" And empathy coming in with "for the greater good," and endurance coming in for Revachol, always and only Revachol. And those get translated into progress and moralism and traditionalism. Oh, you can also choose to disband the thoughts entirely.
I do appreciate about that game. It never like forces you into a thing. It's like, look, here are your options, and there's also the get the fuck out option.
So anyway,
parachute out hard.
I've gone for moralism, which turns out I'm going to be setting up a committee. Basically, that's what I mean, which is totally my jam. What were your options? What were your experiences?
So I technically need to go back and redo mine because I clicked moralism the first time, but I will be going down the libertarian route, the ultra libertarian route. which will be Become a Man of Plenty.
Nice.
So I'm looking out for my economic self-interest. I am fascinated about how I will be doing that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to making shitloads of money.
Is that the
Subscribe to the Patreon or give us a Ko-fi or
the free market only works if everyone participates.
exactly.
It's got to get rid of those last few holdouts, listeners.
Dev, how was your?
I knew it. So my option was for communism, or for the people. I think it was. I think this is interesting from a personal perspective, but also I think from the game's perspective as well. So Dervitz, he is an avowed communist. Like he is a communist, and
he has a bust of Marx on his desk.
Yeah, like it does have there is a certain bias here, but I think it's interesting the way that the game treats communism, because I think it indulges in something that I kind of don't particularly find helpful in leftist spaces, which is there is a certain kind of, more in particular among kind of people with left-wing ideology that are kind of more middle class, there's a certain doomerism, or defeatism is probably a better word for it. And you kind of get that in the game. Like, what the game tells you to do is when you choose the communism political vision quest, is you need to find other communists. The overall objective is get organized, which I think is quite funny. So it's basically forming a committee, but in a different way. Which I thought was quite, because communists, in my experience, love forming committees. But it's what the game tells you to do is, you need to find other communists. How do I find other communists? You can smell them. To which your actual senses come in going, no, you can't. It's completely psycho. This is a psychosomatic thing. You won't actually be able to smell them. But then you can ask, what does communism smell like? And the game just goes, failure, which I thought is quite funny. Like. And then also you're like, and also get ready to complain about other communists, to which you can say, well, that doesn't seem particularly helpful. To which the game says, no. Complaining about other communists is one of the most important parts of being a communist. And like, I feel like this game does a lot to kind of call out just a lot of the bullshit within leftist circles. I think it's one of the awful things is that the whole point is to be organized, but the problem is that we're spending all our time fighting amongst ourselves, that nothing actually gets done.
I think there's an interesting thing that happens when you get the communism thought initially, when you have your Mazdovian socioeconomic brain breakthrough thought cabinet thing.
Yes.
Which is that essentially it chastises you for being like you're a one-man party at the moment.
Yes.
You talk a big game about communism, but like, where's your commune, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm going to read you the solution for that because like I looked it up and I really love what it says. 0.000% of communism has been built. Evil, child-murdering billionaires still rule the world with a shit-eating grin. All he has managed to do is make himself sad. He is starting to suspect Krasmazov fucked him over personally with his socio-economic theory. It has, however, made him into a very, very smart boy with something like a university degree in truth. Instead of building communism, he now builds a precise model of this grotesque, duplicitous world. And that there's so much is contained within that. You have endless YouTube channels of people talking about communism, but it's like, are you actually doing anything? The whole debate bro thing on Twitch, right? Like, they just spend their time arguing with other people on the internet who arguing with professional arguers. And it's like, okay, but is this actually doing anything? And
what was the last rally you went to? When was the last time you organised a communal garden? When was the,
exactly.
It's how are you building community?
Yeah, and I fully admit I am part of that problem a lot of the time. And
it's one of the reasons that I don't kind of consider myself like a full on commie anymore, is because it's like, well, I'm an army of one.
Yeah.
That, and I'm an army of one living in the very, very blue Bedfordshire, Nadine Dorothy's council like area. the area is so blue that they're like, oh, we're not even gonna. We'll just get another Tory and it'll be fine. Like that level of like, they're not bothered about whenever Nadine leaves. But yeah, and so yeah, it's tough out here to kind of build community when it's already so fractured and for me I was airdropped in, so it's anyway. Sorry, I'm getting into
no. Like this is what I'm finding interesting about the game, is that I think it is kind of calling out a certain kind of people. So like I would also not call myself a full blown. I would probably describe myself as still internalizing the thought. Like we can have a very long discussion about the ideas of isolation and things within the theory of.
Isn't that what capitalism does on purpose?
Exactly. Like that it's almost kind of part of the design. But I appreciate what this game is doing when it talks about communism. That it's not talking about it as this kind of, oh, it's so easy actually. It's like, no, it's actually really hard and really difficult, and it's very easy, and it has never worked. like this is the thing. We I'm currently reading a book about East Germany, and it's fascinating and it's interesting, but it's also like, but it also didn't work and it was actually really bad. like it's kind of, it's the same with all cases. But yeah, so I appreciate what the game was doing and what it was talking about, and I like the idea that it, like, I don't like how it I mean, I guess I don't like it, but I appreciate what it's doing. It's taking a very realistic view, and it's kind of going, no, this is not how things should be. This is how things are, and I think that's really important, and I sort of begrudgingly respect it.
So, just to round off this conversation about just because I was thinking about capitalism just then.
I see.
There was I watched a TikTok the other day, which
just to round it off.
bourgeois.
Oh wow!
Ollie is participating in capitalism.
Clap. Exactly. So I was watching a TikTok, and like every TikTok that has ever given me any information, I forgot all the key bits of information, apart from the interesting bit.
Was it my TikTok?
Yes.
No, it was
TikTok.
Not wee. Buddy, you're a boy. You're a big boy. You're a big boy. It was not that. It was about some French revolutionaries from 1960, and it was about reclaiming space, because their theory was that when you're under capitalism, there are three places. There is your home, where you are consuming. There are shops, where you are consuming. And there is your workplace, where you are generating profit for shareholders. Those are kind of your three spaces. And any time in between is like wasted time, or like that's why there's like advertisements and stuff like that, because that's time when you're not giving money or attention to capitalism in those moments, over to capital. And so these wild French guys were basically like, you should just do whatever when you're traveling. Like, you should just take only left turns, or follow a cat, or whatever, because that time is time when you are not being part of the capitalistic system, and therefore you should relish it with all opportunity. And I'm just thinking, in this game where you just wander around, not going into Fritter, not going into the doomed commercial district, and not spending time, those periods of time when you are on the case, those are the times when you are truly free. And I can't remember the name of the French revolutionaries in particular.
I think the term is psychogeography. Is that right?
Psychogeography. That is exactly the term.
I'm just remembering bits and pieces. I can't remember the name of the.
I love that.
It was like the early punk movement in France, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
Oui. Of course, it was the French. Sorry, James.
I love that Dev was reminded of the actual term, and I just had Dirk Gently in my head.
Well, Dirk Gently is a psychogeographist. To the hardest
Although
extremes.
he is a very capitalist psychogeographist, right? He is pursuing the route in, just following people around or following a cat or something in order to achieve his goal of invoicing
in order to attain fiscal gain,
which is an interesting flip on that theoretical.
That's exactly like Adams. That's exactly what Adams would do.
What was the quote about capitalism subsuming criticisms of itself?
Yeah, so capitalism subsumes its critiques.
Yes.
Oh, we are lost. Anyway, so I think that's all.
I mean, like, I actually did have a thought on. If you don't mind me continuing this review outside of the political interpretation of what we just played.
Sure.
There were quite a lot of hours of game time that we had in homework.
I also had some stuff that happened
was this waking up.
Because for me, all I needed to do was go to bed.
I had so much stuff happen.
3 to 4 hours of game time. Other than that. And even then, there is something about the game of this. Actually, one last political thought as well. This reminds me of the meta narrative or meta political experience. Felt very similar to those which political party should you vote for quizzes. Right, because we spend the entire game.
There is an element of
different
political
options.
compass about
and then
it. Yeah.
At this juncture, on the end of day 4, or the end of day 3, beginning of day 4, we are being given like, oh, well, here's what we think you are like. Do you agree? Do you want to make a committee?
Yeah.
Do you want to form a committee brackets centrist, or do you want to form a committee brackets leftist? Like it's the options.
Yes.
Or with traditionalists, it's, do you want to turn back the wheel of time? And the answer is no. Anyway, so James, you had 3 to 4 hours in Cheveshow.
I mean. Yeah, so one thing I did, so a few things I did, was really cool. I got some dice from the dice maker, which is very cool. They don't do anything yet, but that's just nice to have. I looked in a mirror and saw my real face, which was very cool. I don't know if either of you have done that yet. I shaved.
Wait, hold on. Have you been going around without like a proper character portrait?
Yeah.
With like a weird, like blind face where. So you've only just seen the expression.
I've only just seen the expression.
Whoa!
Have both of you already seen the expression?
It was one of the first things we did.
First thing, you look in the mirror.
Well, but you look in the mirror and it hurts you.
Yourself.
And then you go back in. And it says, are you sure you want to do this? And I said no, because I had 1 hit point left. I didn't want to die in my first actions of the game when I was already touched something and it hurt.
True.
I had 2 hit points. Looking in the mirror hurt it. Give me what would have won, and then I tried looking in the mirror again and said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I thought, actually, no, this is a stupid idea.
Don't know if I do.
So now that I've after having through the game, I'd put more points.
So you're no longer potato face. You've got the expression.
Yeah, I have the expression.
And then you shaved.
And then I shaved. Yes.
You didn't get to live with your beautiful mutton chops.
No, I just I don't know. I saw the option. I took it. Because I looked in the mirror and I thought, what I've not tried to do is get rid of the expression. That seems because I don't.
That's hard.
I just don't have the electrochemistry for it. That's just not the character I've built. And also,
you just become a sad sack.
Do you? Okay. Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah.
Although having seen the expression, I now regret not having put a thought point into finger guns.
Wait, hang on. Sorry, what? Finger guns?
Finger guns, brackets, 9mm, close brackets.
You have an incredible memory for the names of these things.
Hang on, sorry, what? What is this?
I have actually filled my thought cabinet. I have no points left I can put into my thought cabinet. It is done.
Beautiful.
I can unthink things and try to think of new thoughts. But yeah, I now have to put. During this game through, I completed that, so I now have to put points into skills. And ever since I started doing that, the game started getting much easier.
Yes. I mean, I had a thought recently about my law jaw. Which is this kind of, every time you say I am the law and you have, this kind of stiff jaw that kind of comes with it. And I was like, what's the origin of my law jaw? And I thought about it for 4 hours and it's like, oh, you had polio as a kid. And so I've forgotten that completely so I can think about the Great Northern Road into the pale.
I think it's
God.
interesting that the game. Sorry to go on yet another tangent.
No, please do.
But I think it's interesting how the game. You can either put skill points into the thought cabinet, or you can put skills into your actual skill tree. And that's interesting if you think about that in terms of like internal and external. Like it's like either you can spend a lot of time thinking about stuff, or you can get better at things that help you interact with the external world.
You can think or you can do.
Exactly. I think that's really interesting. Like the last few playthroughs I've kind of been focusing a bit more on the thought cabinet, and I have a couple of things to talk about later on when we get to my kind of end of Wednesday. But yeah, it didn't really occur to me until we kind of started recording that like the game is kind of asking you to make that decision or to try and make that balance between balancing internal and external, and you only have a limited amount of time or a limited amount of space to spend on these two areas. I think that's really interesting.
So James, anything else with your day?
Probably, but I'm really actually excited to hear what Dev's thoughts are. What I will do is I will look for, because I took a screenshot of my thought cabinet and I will share it. But I'm really excited to hear Dev's gameplay.
But I internalized a couple of interesting. I also gained a couple of other thoughts to think about, which is an odd sentence to say. First thing was pinball. I found pinball.
Nice.
I found the pinball. And got the Jamrock Shuffle thought, which I think Ollie, you have, or you've internalized, or you?
Yes, I think I have. Yes.
Yeah, and then I ended up having a deep conversation with Gart about how much he loves the Whirling in Rags, which is quite nice.
That's nice.
Oh, nice, inexplicable feminist agenda.
Yes. Well, this is the thing. I'm trying to evolve it, but I'm not 100% sure how. And then what did I else? Like, I spoke to Joyce again and realized that this game has a running theme of dead communists.
Sorry.
I thought it was quite fun. No, it's worth laughing at. It's what you should do, arguably. What does communism smell like? Failure. But I got a wonderful quote from Joyce, which these are unimportant times. You and I were born after the dust had settled, a thousandth of a second too late, which I thought was really interesting.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's a really good quote. It kind of reminded me a lot of the end of history. Which was the 90s, late 90s.
Back when the Macarena was...
yeah, we thought that was...
Everyone was doing it.
That was the apex of culture. It's never going to get any better than this.
Yep.
And it turns out they were right.
Wrong.
Come on.
So the big one I wanted to talk about was I internalized rigorous self-critique. I fully became sorry cop.
I've noticed that James also has rigorous self-critique.
Yeah.
Something I have not internalized.
I have thought about dropping it if I want. If that is the one I would think I would. That is the one I would drop if I had to drop one.
So have you internalized it?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, amazing. So first of all, the actual bonuses you get from it are actually really good. Basically, so if you fail a physics and motoristics check, you gain 1 health.
Oh, nice.
Whereas if you fail psychic and what's the other one? Internal? It's like
intellect.
Intellect, thank you. If you fail those checks, you get healed 1 morale.
Oh,
so it's actually quite good. It's actually quite a good internal thought. But the problem is that you have to you basically learn of some truly awful things that Harry has done in the past.
Yeah.
Like truly awful.
Yes, yeah. Getting it was very cool.
So what do you learn?
So I'll read it to you because I also have it here. Hard facts from the man you are. You once jerked... Spoilers for just very explicit stuff, but just content warning for that.
Spoiler alert. For gross.
For gross, yeah. You once jerked off in the locker room and were caught. You held a young woman by the arm and kept her in your apartment for 20 minutes against her will. That's the one that fucking hits hard. That's right. These are not flights of fancy. These are real deeds, Harry, emerging from the darkness of your past. You tried shooting a fleeing suspect in the foot, but you hit him in the pelvis. Oof, that's just crippling him for life. And above all, you let life defeat you. All the gifts your parents gave you, all the love and patience of your friends, you drowned in a neurotoxin. You let misery win, and it will keep on winning till you die. overcome it. So it kind of gives you that little tiny bit of hope at the end. But that was not a fun thing to.
That's some rigorous self-critique right there.
The thing to have to read. But yeah, and I think like I kind of again respect the game for kind of not holding back and kind of going, no, you are a person that has done truly horrible things, reprehensible, like unforgivable things. But there's
a little tiny a soupçon of silver lining.
Yeah, like there is. I think that it was something that
a quantum of solace to a Bond film.
But so the when you spoke to if you've spoken to the doctor at the police station,
yes, the Lazarus,
and there's a wonderful thing that he says where it's basically like, look, you've absolutely destroyed your body, so no wonder you've forgotten everything. But now if you've forgotten everything, look at it like a blessing. You can start again. You can be the person you want to be, free from the kind of the knowledge and the baggage of your past, which is a very powerful thing. And I think that's kind of where the hope comes from in this game, is kind of like, yes, like you can come out the other side of something truly horrible and be all the better for it, and that it's never too late to be the person that you want to be.
So I've got a story that may not make the final cut, depending on how brave I am to put it in. But I had a mate. I have a mate who is into their Jungian phenomenology stuff. And part of Jungian phenomenology is the shadow self. So you've got your self that you present to the world, and then you've got your shadow self, the kind of stuff that's sort of part of your personality, but you kind of don't acknowledge it in the same way, or you have to kind of come to terms with it and these sorts of things. It's, if you've ever played a Persona game, it's the entire point of the Persona games.
Okay.
is realizing your shadow self and combining it with your persona. So we were chatting one night, and he said to me, Ollie, you have a rather big shadow self. And I had this kind of awful sort of bottom drop out my chest moment where I was like, oh God, of course I have a shadow self. I've been trying to hide it. What have you gleaned? So we kind of got, the conversation kind of carried on for a bit. And I said, okay, so what is it about me that is part of my shadow self? And he said, oh, your size. And I was in this sort of two frames of mind. One, I realized that he had just found a roundabout way of calling me fat.
Yeah.
And the second was this sort of gasping relief, because I was like, oh, thank God. I thought you were going to say the violence.
Oh, my.
And
oh, my.
I have a bit of a past with rage, and yeah, I've sort of, this is why I'm like, I'm 50-50 about putting it in the podcast, but like, I just remember this sort of kind of like, oh no, my shadow self is well and truly hidden. This is very wild and very weird. And part of that rigorous self-critique thing is like, yeah, you kind of wonder and worry about those sort of moments of where you were not your best self, and where you were kind of the worst of all possible Ollies, or the worst of all possible Devs, or the worst of all possible Jameses. Those things do kind of weigh on you. And yeah, so good on Harry and good on the both of you for doing rigorous self-critique. I haven't done that in my playthrough. I've done it in real life, but not in my playthrough.
It didn't occur to me to think about this as me being me either, right? I was like, it's me. I am playing a character here. I think I've done rigorous self-critique in my life, but
you are not Harry Dubois.
Incidentally, just in case this does make it in, I do want to add that one of the things I've always really found valued about Ollie's friendship is that I've never met anyone so chill, and so the fact that you always use rage does, like, even like, you've been chill in the most. You were chill today when I was like, oh, the day that I said I can't do it at that time. And then you were like, okay, I'll ask my friends if I can cancel a thing with them. And then I said, oh, I can do it. And you were still chill, right? You were chill about me really wobbling in a way that adults shouldn't have to. And you were so chill. And so I'm wondering, what the hell are these? I feel like the things that could cause you to erupt in rage would be maybe the sort of things that cause anyone to erupt in rage.
I have a very high threshold, but when I pop, I think is the issue. Again, I don't know how much of this will be in the podcast, but for example, when I went mad, or when I was unwell, as the doctors like to remind me, one of the things that I was classified as was a big risk, and a big risk isn't. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're like a big risk to yourself, or it just means that you're a large guy. And so what I noticed when I was sort of in care is that whenever I would shout, whenever I would yell, whenever I would lose my cool, there would suddenly be 5 people around me going, "Hey, Ollie, are you okay?" Because, not because I was sort of, because they were sort of semi-aware that it would take 5 guys to bring me down. So just because I'm 6'7" and built like a brick shit house. And so I've always been very aware that like, so when they said my size, they were right. You know, my size is kind of one of my shadowy things, but it's in relation to being a big guy in a small world, if that makes sense. Being a big guy in a regular sized world. The joke I often make is, if you put an action man in a doll's house, that's kind of the perspective shift you have when I walk into a room. Like you put a teacup in my hand and it just looks tiny. I use like the super, oh God, what are they called? You know those Sports Direct mugs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I hold one of those. It looks like a regular sized cup in my hand. Yes. You know, that's the sort of perspective shift you have when I walk into a room.
The framing is important here, though, because what you said was like Action Man in a doll's house, but you could equally say this is like God's walking among us. Right, which might be a bit inflating, but like, this is like, you know,
that's the second time you've referred to me as God today.
Well,
but
the first time
was off
first
camera.
time it was recording, yes.
First time in audio.
It was always in audio, but
that's true.
And the framing will make a difference on how others will feel about it and how you'll feel about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for letting me get vulnerable, detectives.
But yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. I mean, also just while we're here, as someone who has also had problems with anger in the past, I appreciate the sentiment that the fear that someday someone's gonna work it out and find out about it. So I get that. I understand what that feels like.
Groovy. Sorry, yes. So, but farts,
Getting back to stuff that might be
urine. I don't know. Anyway, yes. This is in a trench coat.
Welcome back to the light-hearted
all the way to the end of the
review
episode
of political spectrums in video games.
Is there anything else before we wrap up?
I do actually have. So I spoke to the smoker on the balcony. That was
wonderful! Finally.
So, clearly I messed up the order or something, because basically they went away because I had to speak to the person inside, and the basically just went, "You feel like you're saying goodbye to one of the coolest people you've ever met," and I'm like, that sounds like the game telling me I've missed something, or I've aligned things in the wrong order, so it's not quite worked out the way it should, which was very sad.
You'll see him again.
Yeah, I hope so. So it was quite funny, actually, and I think it was this moment where I realized that I'm actually quite far through the game, much further through than I realized, because I spoke to the Sunday friend and then found a conical hat and a kimono, both which I was very tempted to wear, but I was also kind of like,
drip.
Yeah, I was very much just like, I like these, but they don't really offer much in terms of bonuses. The kimono has +1 drama, become the dragon, which is, I think, was quite funny. The Sunday friend is kind of interesting because the Sunday friend's like, the way I interpreted it, the way I perceived it, was that the Sunday friend's kind of a parody of like an EU bureaucrat.
Yeah,
like the way they kind of talked about what was it, like the price had a particular phrase, but it was all about keeping things at a certain price.
Yeah, there's like a delicate balancing act with the
Institute of Price Stability. So it's like, it's all about keeping prices stable, and you sort of have a conversation about moralism, I think, because he's from the Moral Intern. So you have a conversation about the economy and things, which was interesting, and is kind of I think is definitely like slight caricature of of an EU bureaucrat, which I thought was interesting. But it was quite funny actually, because like the information that he actually had, I had actually already got, but I think that was the point where I was like, because basically he basically says, "Oh, this is what I saw," and then he goes, "But you already knew that though, didn't you?" And you're like, "Yeah, kind of, like that's information I like." Your sort of internal monologue kind of goes, yeah, this lines up with what you learned earlier. So it's like, I think I've kind of done things slightly out of order with this.
I mean, I was chatting to Classier on the roof, the disco dancer, and you know, it did get to a point where the game was like, yeah, you should probably have a look at that body now. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, we got things to do. I ain't getting down a body. That's expensive.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, that's the other thing. So like, because Kim disappeared off at 5 p.m. I've been flying solo most of today and all evening. So like, I'm curious to see what Kim has to say when we meet back up again on Thursday morning.
I do wonder actually.
Wow.
Because you are able to kind of really so. In real life, I very naturally find it easy to push into the wee hours of the morning doing productive things. And that's how I've played the character a bit. But unlike my real life, this character naturally wakes up at 7 a.m. So I do wonder if the way I've been playing this game and then the fewer hours of sleep I give Harry than you two may be giving Harry, I wonder if that has an impact on the game. Because you can go to sleep at 9 p.m. and wake up at 7 or 9:30 or something. So I do wonder if that makes a difference to gameplay, if that's built in. I wouldn't be able to know. From
my experience, it does not. But I'm now annoyed that it doesn't.
Sorry. Maybe that's something they'll build into the sequel. Although it'll be such an annoying.
It would be a kind of it's like, hey, you didn't do your sleep?
Yes, like I did, like, you know, no one wants this to be like a Twine game or something. RPG Twine game. It's like, we're like, have you not slept enough? We're going to give you 80% of your character traits. So, yeah, that would be annoying.
Did you remember your sleep routine, Harry?
Don't forget to have 8 hours a night,
I guess you just, I mean, this is a character who you can just play to be effectively coked up all the time.
Did you brush your teeth?
Hydrate or dehydrate, Harry.
Did you read half an hour before you went to sleep?
No caffeine after midday, Harry.
You know how it makes you jumpy.
Oh no! Oh no! What just happened?
I'm glad we brought this bit back, because we did it in episode 2, and I was very sad when we were editing it that we forgot that it was a bit.
Oh god! Are you two just sitting on my
broken
shoulders?
James. So no, that was Roz from Monsters Inc. I'm sorry, I went too far the other way.
Right. I think that is all.
To hold off
that is all.
I had another thought.
Well, GG.
Yeah, but it was GG.
GG, yeah, very good. I think a big bumper episode.
Yes. We'll get back to normal framework
to mark
next week.
11 episodes.
Whatever
normal
means.
Whatever normal means.
Says the centrist of the game.
I have a gift.
Thank you so much, Dev, for sending us a postcard or sending me a postcard. That was really.
Oh, fantastic!
I haven't checked my postbox.
Ollie, check your posts.
All right, I'll check my post right now. I'll be right
check your post, Ollie. People might send you things, Ollie.
I'm going to stop recording and check my post.
Okay.
Wait, why are you stopping recording?
Keep rolling,
why is he stopping recording?
I don't know.
Cool.
Oh no, they're still not back, James.
No, yeah, it's like okay, well, that's done. Let's go back to chatting about it.
We could start. We could go rogue. We could start a different podcast. Like just this little bit here. Hello, welcome to the other. Welcome to Two Detectives in a Trench Coat.
Three detectives in a trench coat. Three detectives in a trench coat.
Thank you for listening to Three Detectives in a Trench Coat. The three detectives are James Curtis, Oliver Morris, and Amber Devereaux. The podcast is edited by Oliver Morris and Amber Devereaux with original music by Oliver Morris. To find out more about the detectives and some of their previous casework, check the show notes.
Thank you for listening. Love you. Bye.